This is Private Strickland, radio check on frequency 124.1 over.
Reach Lou trying to put one over.
You take it if you really don't feel like it. I don't mind taking it.
Roger.
I also don't mind swapping halfway if you want to both practice or something.
Make sure you push red, Strickland.
I'm good on practice. If you want the practice, you can take it, but I'll gladly take it off your hands.
Copy, yeah.
And plus, you have your. I know how you like shooting your 320 and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
1, 2, 3, out.
You alright, Delta?
Alright, let me get on the comms.
Shred.
He may not have his comm set up.
That's what I was checking.
Land station, you're Lima Charlie 1, 2, 3, over.
Probably grabbing an extra round.
Thanks, Mod.
Probably.
2, 3, out.
Be advised, I have.
Sorry, be advised, I have 3 times EP and 2 times heat rounds.
Strickland.
So, got a few extra rounds for you.
Wait.
Roger that.
What do you have?
Right.
3 belts
Hey,
with
so
9
Alex
and 3.
Session on this note,
and
this is 2, 3,
2
right check on 1, 2, 0. Yeah.
Why do you have it split up?
Check in.
That's how the cool up gave it to me.
Okay.
I'm not questioning it.
Alright,
Yeah.
so I mean.
Base station is now station 124, radio check out.
Delta, this is 2-4, reach Lima Charlie on 124, over.
Copy.
Do you
So
want me to
apparently
carry
my
belts in a
arsenal got
rocket?
fucked up.
Because I've got 2
I
rockets.
showed up and I
Yeah.
plugged everything in and it was naked. All I had was my backpack and my weapons.
It's on.
Oh,
Strickland's got enough.
I don't know what the fuck happened there, so
Okay, I'll carry 2 rockets then.
Figure it out afterwards, I guess.
I have to.
It's like my
Okay.
Did you grab 1 extra round?
Also,
I got 3 heat.
do you guys have
McDougal,
CLS?
so we're
Looks
going
like he's
back to
rocking
the
the
gold.
320.
Yep.
Okay, 2 mics, Havoc 2,
Ooh,
let's wrap it up in 2
we might
mics.
North Sea
Squad
West.
leaders, send me your numbers that you got in right
We
now.
might too.
I have a half
in
hour
that
for you
case,
guys from Bainin. Is it just
Zir, tell
Munson
us
one
you
guy?
to grab CLS. That way,
negative.
I know
Tino
it's
is
not
getting
normal,
in
but
right
I feel
now.
like
I Strickland should put shred.
and then Mike stay with me, and we'll kind of go from there.
God damn it!
I've had it shift over.
Say again?
Your composition right now.
Alpha, this is
Push red.
And they're all here.
1, 2, 3.1.
Copy.
Thank you. Done, you have all of your 8 guys here.
Doing this.
Bravo.
Always 6.
Say again.
This team I got
I don't know. I'm messing
We don't have a
around
Bravo.
now.
Thank
I'm trying to
you.
get it figured out. Otherwise,
That's
I
fine.
guess
I'm
I'll
gonna
run
go
a
grab
5-man
extra
setup
blood
with
bags.
1
Right, Zero.
Tell us it's gonna be,
Let me
rough.
know
Right.
when Tino and
In
Munson
case that
are
wasn't
present,
figured
We
out.
both got CLS.
so you can update me
Yeah,
twice,
yeah,
okay?
that's good. Thank you.
What do you guys have for,
How did the weapons guys go getting in?
Okay, now we got ready to shift.
We are all good. I'm just having my Delta Gunner grab a CLS kit.
Where's your mic and gunner?
Brennan is over at the
By the
other box. I think
boxes.
he was adjusting
I'm not
something
worried.
real quick.
Alright, let me know when you're good to go, and I'll start a read.
Copy that.
what did he say?
Alright, I'm good.
Come inside.
2-4 so far, so good. You're alright.
Yep.
Okay.
I was hoping you forget.
Bravo, what do you need? Feeling?
User joined your channel. Over.
Munson, you can be.
yeah.
I need an AR.
Roger.
You have a loadout?
Yes, I have
I'll take that as a yes. Okay.
three lunchables. Yellow smoke.
Got no time for your shit.
Apparently, fuck. I mean,
Oh, should be almost
you never
set.
see corporals
Just
around
waiting on
anymore.
those
We're
two.
all looked down as shit.
Yeah, should almost be ready to step off. At least get our brief.
That's what the Havoc 5 isn't it?
Mhm.
What? Huh?
Havoc 5.
I don't pay attention most of the time.
Alright, that's good.
They're going a little slower than I'd like, though.
This is 5. We're doing Charlie on 3-2 over.
Mike, Delta, you guys alright?
Working on trying to get my equipment set up.
Copy that. Alright, up. Seems like we are starting to wait on you guys, though.
Yeah. I appreciate you appreciating me.
Actual, be advised, this is Delta. I'm having
Also, this
to
is Corey. Radio
take
check
away one of my
152.1
heat
over.
rounds in order to fix the situation quick.
Copy that. Thank you for the heads up.
One over.
Let Tino know about the mismatch. We'll see if
Sweet.
Make sure you push green, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
What'd you say?
Got 11 heat rounds through the squad, so I think we should be okay.
Wait,
You have
we
11?
Jesus Christ.
He
Who
has
has-
2. He has 2.
Yes,
you
he
have
did.
3.
To
I have
a
4.
unknown
Simon
location.
should have 2.
Probably Qatar
Yep.
or Saudi Arabia.
Well,
He's going to Iraq.
let me
I know you
rephrase.
said Iraq.
I technically have 3 rounds because I have 1 loaded in, and I have 2 extra. So, be advised, change on that account. It is 3 heat rounds for Delta.
Copy that.
Corporal Dunn, you still have your staff sergeant on your vest?
But 11 heat rounds is going to be more than enough.
I mean, who knows? Should.
What's up, Simon? Is he okay?
Mike, you alright?
Roger.
It's been a little bit.
I'll be back in a second. We're gonna go check on him.
He's getting his earplugs.
Can you delete those guys at the example?
You alright, Simon?
guys.
Yeah, I'm fine, man.
Just seemed like you were taking a while. Just wanted to make sure.
Actual, this is Delta. Good to go.
Nashville, Charlie, good to go.
Alpha's good to go.
It's good
I
to
had,
see weird not having a Bravo team.
He has a funny vest.
Means when he does his call outs, you have to skip Bravo. So after Alpha says something, you'll
Mm-hmm.
I know, but it's not the same without our Australian.
I know. It is what it is, though, unfortunately. I do wish we had our crazy kangaroo, buddy.
we
2-4 is
request
ready to
for
go.
a kangaroo.
Out.
I can ask Sergeant Hardman.
2-3. How did we go?
Still, yeah, he's having trouble. I think
He's wanting a leadership position.
Who is?
Hardman.
Since out of the box.
Really? I thought he kind of had one already.
He does, but
Yeah.
it's for Delta,
How long
or it's
ago?
for Romeo.
Oh, you talking? He wants actual one?
Looks like it's your original plan, Sergeant Adamson. Until
Yeah, he and I
fucks
text all the time.
Oh, cool.
Well, a lot of it is because we're in the same shops.
Yeah, that
Alright,
makes
Havoc 2, let's head out of this door, stop in front of the first sergeant, and get ready for
Alright, we're heading out the door and meeting up in front of this first sergeant.
Always ready for a briefing.
Follow one and split circle.
Let me know when you're here, guys.
Mike here.
Oh, Bravo's here.
Who you guys see?
Copy.
Squad leaders, any lost puppies in the sheds?
Delta's here. I'm sitting next to Charlie as well.
Any fucking questions? Haskin, you here?
2-4's all here.
2-1's all here.
Fuck yeah, alright, let's begin. Welcome to Platoon Training, Havoc 2. A little update on today. Lieutenant Myers is having some issues with the trains in UK. He'll be here as soon as he can. Appreciate your attendance today. His intent for the training was 2IC day and mount. So I'm going to run the training in his absence and Sergeant Cadwell's absence. Sergeant Cadwell will be returning in March, so we can look forward to that then. Cardwell, call. Thank you, First Sergeant. So you may notice the reorganization. We have the 2IC stepping up. So it's pretty much sink or swim. Might be a little bit of instruction, but we're going to throw them in the deep end. So do your best as a trooper. The way we're going to handle training today is the first sergeant is here, thankfully, and he runs the UCS school. If you haven't done it, sign up for it. But he's going to grab one portion of it, and he's going to help us with our mount, and we're going to run an example. After that, we're going to put that to the test in our basic mount training in a smaller environment and then into a larger mount environment. So there's a 3-step training today. I will brief you on the steps 2s and 3s when the time comes. If If there are no questions, comments, concerns, I'm going to hand you over to the First Sergeant. Outstanding, all yours, First Sergeant.
All right. How many of you guys have actually been to UCS? Just go ahead and stand up for me real quick. All right, at least a few of you. So, go ahead and take a knee. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is kind of the three main things that at least hopefully guys take away from UCS, and that's the three kind of golden rules that I follow in urban combat. One of you guys that have been to UCS, tell me what rule number 1 is.
Sightlines.
Sightlines. What's rule number 2?
Where your head goes, weapon goes.
There you go. What's rule number 3?
Move ready to fight, weapons up.
There you go. All right, so that's our 3 rules that we're going to be talking about tonight and that I want to see you guys implementing. We're going to go over it in a little bit more detail here in a second. We're actually going to bounce over to a little town so I can kind of explain this stuff to you guys a little bit more and go into a little bit of depth in terms of movement when in an urban environment. All right, before we get started, does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Go first, Sergeant.
Go first, Sergeant.
All right. Everybody turn around. Do you see that fucking bear flagpole behind you?
Roger.
Affirm.
All right. Since Sergeant Owens watched a little bit of fucking SpongeBob before he set this up, you guys are going to go to fucking whatever the hell the ridiculous name is for the area. Example time. There you go. All right, so do it clean and orderly. Everybody teleport over to example time.
You're the man.
Alright, we're moving over to example time.
Yep.
Let me know when you guys get there.
Teleport. Let me know when you're there.
Copy. This is one outside.
That is the wrong flagpole for everyone who went over there.
Copy that.
It's the one on the outside.
Oh, outside. Okay. I'm gonna send this guy to. Hey, because I didn't see that.
Phase 2 once we're all ready, so they can identify the op 4 there.
Copy, bro.
Coping you through.
Guess we set up 360.
Alpha's here.
Anthony's here. Mike's here.
Alpha's here.
Phil's on the west side.
2-4's all here.
Alpha, Bravo, go ahead and
Monroe,
push off
check
to
it.
the southwest so I can see you guys.
All right, gentlemen, go ahead and follow me.
Follow the First Sergeant.
Moving out. Follow the First Sergeant.
First Sergeant. Follow First Sergeant.
Alpha step.
Alpha was all your guys counted for.
On the street.
User in your channel timed out. Over.
Let me know when you're all here.
Mike's here.
Alpha's here.
All right.
Bravo's here.
So the first thing we're going to go over here, rule number 1. All right, sight lines. I always ask at the start of a UCS class, number 1 thing you fight in an urban environment. Answer, sight lines. Okay. It's also the biggest tool you have to use against the enemy.
Can you hear me? I'm getting.
Trentino, stop speaking. You're in global.
Who's responsible for him? That would be who is Trentino's squad leader.
I am First Sergeant.
Congratulations. I'll send you an extra pack of crayons later.
User entered your channel.
Thank you, First Sergeant.
You're welcome. All right. So sight lines. As I said, it's the biggest thing we fight, but it's also the biggest thing we can use against the enemy. Okay, what I mean by that is, if we are moving down the street, okay, imagine our traditional fucking staggered column. We're doing a road march coming down this street, and we get up to roughly here, and we see a roadblock set up right at the start of that curve. And at that roadblock is a couple of MMGs, mounted machine guns. So they have a nice kill lane set up down this road, and it starts engaging. What's the first thing we do?
Seek cover.
Get off.
Move to cover. All right. So in this situation, obviously the guys on the right-hand side of the road, it doesn't seem like they have any cover, right? There's no buildings or anything over there for them to hide behind, correct? Everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
So what do?
Jump the wall.
If you have to jump that wall that's about 1 meter high, I have serious doubts on your athletic capabilities. I'm pretty sure you can just step over it. What are they going to do? If the roadblock's down there at the start of the curve, and they're over on that fucking right side of the road, or your left as you look back there, are they going to run across the street and get behind these buildings?
No, they're gonna stay on their side and move up towards that wall.
Move out of line of sight.
There you go.
Keep their head low as well.
Just move off to the fucking right a little bit. If they're out here on the side of the street, move 20 meters right. That roadblock can no longer see you. You've now broken line of sight with them. Now you can hit that wall and push along the fucking right side there and flank the enemy from that position. Same thing on the left side here. They move fucking 10 meters to their left, boom, they're behind a building. They can now maneuver on the enemy. What happens, too fucking often, is some asshat, especially someone with a fucking machine gun, thinks they're John J. fucking Rambo and lay down right on the sidewalk and start returning fire. What happens when the enemy is engaging you and you stop?
They already saw you. You die.
Yep. All you're doing is making their job easier for them. If you think stopping and engaging something that is already engaging you is the best idea, obviously I have failed at my fucking job. Get to cover. Break the line of sight and begin maneuvering. Hey, remember, find, fix, flank, eliminate, right? You already know where he is. You've already found him. Now you got to fix him. Somebody tell me what it means to fix the enemy, because a lot of people get this wrong.
Location.
Fix the enemy's
No.
position? No, it means to lock them down in their
To
position
pin them
so you
down.
can flank on them.
Exactly. Okay? Fix means to fix their position so that they cannot move. Whether that be setting up a cordon, laying down suppressing fire, whatever. But you lock down all the angles so that they cannot move. So what would happen in this situation is if we had, say, 2-1 on the right side of the road and 2-2 on the left side, they both break off of the road. Then 2-1 and 2-2 squad leads start talking to each other. Say 2-1 says, hey, we got a good position to flank around here to the right. 2-2 says, Roger, we'll push up on the left and set up a base of fire. So they push up along the backyards of these buildings, get a position where they got an angle on that roadblock, and they start dumping out suppressing fire, while 2-1 flanks them. Find, fix, flank. And then they eliminate. They push through that enemy position. Okay? All the while using those goddamn sight lines. Last thing in terms of sight lines. I know we went over this at the end of the FTX when I was talking about fucking smoke. Stop throwing smoke in a fucking urban environment. Okay, smoke works great when you're out in the open or even in a forest where you don't have good solid cover. It's pretty much fucking pointless in an urban environment. If something is engaging you down the street, then move behind cover. Don't just throw smoke down the street, because if you have another element that's trying to cover you, you throw smoke out there, they can no longer do their job. All you have done is made the enemy's job easier because you've now also concealed him, and now he can maneuver on you safely. He can cross that LDA back and forth as much as he wants until that smoke dissipates, and you have no idea what he's doing back there. The only time you use smoke in an urban environment is when you need to cross an LDA that's currently being watched by the enemy. Meaning, this road here, if there was a fucking machine gun with a kill lane set up here, and you needed to get from the right side of the road over to the left side, deploy smoke, let it plume, run your ass across the street, and you're good. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Proper usage of smoke in an urban environment.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Alright. So, that covers rule number 1. Rule number 2, where your head goes, your weapon goes. Okay? This is fucking vital. It's not just so that you can fucking get kills or any stupid shit like that. Okay? It's more so for suppression than anything else. When you're looking around, say you're using your free look to look off to your right, and then you see a target. Well, then what do you got to do? You either got to release your button or hit another button or whatever, get your head back straight, and then wheel your body around. And by then, he could already be gone. He could already be engaging you, whatever. Same goes for while you're moving. If you're looking around while you're moving, That's great, but in an urban environment, you have little to no fucking reaction time. So that means that time it takes you to get your head back straight and wheel your body around that direction, get your rifle on target, that opportunity is already gone. So anywhere you're looking, your weapon should be there as well. Now, obviously, that increases the risk of flagging enemies, which you guys know are flagging friendlies, which you guys know I fucking hate. That's why oftentimes you will see me catch myself like, oh, I'm looking at a friendly, and I'll lower my weapon just like it is right now, so that I'm not flagging friendly. I try my absolute fucking best all the time to not have my weapon pointed at anyone, unless we're breaching into a building. We've all talked about that before, breaching and having your weapon pointed at your buddy's back. We don't have a whole lot of choice, whatever. But everywhere I look, generally, my weapon is going to be there as well, at least in a high-threat environment. High-threat environment meaning it has not already been cleared by friendly elements. Okay, so does everybody understand what I mean by your head goes there, your weapon goes there?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
All right. Last thing, moving ready to fight. Okay. Is there anybody unclear as to what I mean when I say combat pace?
Negative for Sergeant.
Yeah,
No,
it's more
combat
stuff.
pace is not high ready. All right.
Combat pace mode.
There you go. All right, hitting Charlie or double tapping control, whatever your hotkey may be. Combat pace is fucking vital in an urban environment like this. If you're moving, okay, I'm going to give you guys a quick example here. Okay, if I have my weapon up like this, perfectly fine. As soon as I start moving, my weapon lowers. To engage, I have to stop to raise my weapon up, which I see guys do a lot. They fucking stop and start shooting. What happens when you stop?
You get died.
Become a target.
There you go. So, if I hit Charlie and go into combat pace, my weapon is up and ready to engage at all times. No matter how much I move, that fucking weapon will stay up there. I have the most amazing fucking biceps on the planet because I can keep this weapon held up there all goddamn day long. You all have the same capability. Do it. When you are moving through a high-threat environment, again, an area that has not already been cleared by enemies, get that weapon up. Be ready to engage. All right? How many of you guys, and this isn't to fucking, stroke my own ego, how many of you guys have watched my streams or videos before? All right. How many of those of you that have watched them have seen me moving with my weapon up and start taking rounds and instantly spin and just start engaging towards the target? Why am I able to do that?
Combat pace.
Combat pace.
Exactly. Now, when I return fire like that, it's not necessarily to eliminate the threat. That's not my primary objective in that situation. My goal is to suppress the enemy, try to make him get behind cover while I'm still moving to cover. I don't stop while I'm engaging. I keep moving to cover. If I turn and engage and I see that his head goes down, I immediately start pushing towards him. I press my advantage because now he's behind cover. He can't see me moving. He can't engage me. So I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to push that position so that he can't move out of that position and engage me from somewhere else. That combat pace is fucking vital. Keep your weapon up. Where your head goes, your weapon goes. Those two work hand in hand. When you're using that combat pace, you're looking around. Everywhere you look, your weapon is ready to engage the entire time. All right, is everybody clear on combat pace and when it should be used?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Affirm top.
All right. Last thing I'm going to point out here. How many times have you guys heard me say push online?
A lot of times.
A lot, right?
Lots.
Do it all the fucking time. When I say push online, pushing online does not mean running towards the fucking enemy like this. Okay? That's not pushing online. That's pushing online, shoulder to shoulder with each other, ready to fucking engage. Remember, when we're pushing online, a straight horizontal skirmish line moving forward. We're doing that because we know there is a threat directly in front of us. Why the fuck would I want to have to stop to engage that threat? Keep your weapon up, in your shoulder, ready to engage. When you push online, you always move at a combat pace. If something happens while you're pushing online, say, you know, a BTR or a BMP or something like that starts engaging you, then yeah, drop your weapon and run your ass to cover, because you can't engage a BTR or something like that on the move. You're not going to be firing a fucking AT-4 from your shoulder while you're jogging through the woods. Just not going to happen. But you got shooters in front of you. Someone says push online, get your weapon up, go into combat pace, and do your absolute best to stay nice shoulder to shoulder with them. All right, everybody clear on that?
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right. So, now to move on to the part where you guys actually get to do something here. When we move through a town, we're generally going to move in a file, correct?
Affirmative.
All right. So that's going to consist usually of a 4-man fire team moving in a file. Okay. So give me a fire team up against that wall. I don't give a shit who it is, even if you're from different squads. Get 4 guys up against that wall. All right. So go ahead and set up in what you guys think is the correct positions and so on to begin moving down the street.
Nuts to butts. Get your nuts on the man in front of you's butts. Watch the 6. Ready for Sergeant? Watch watch out to the right a little bit more.
Do you guys think they're set up to move down the street?
Not to move first, Sergeant.
That's like a breach. They're like all clustered
Okay, so
together.
Or
what do they need to change?
Spacing.
Rear security needs to be faced a little more forward.
Last man needs to be changed to a little bit forward. Turn towards the front.
All right, so number 4, go ahead and turn to your left. Keep turning to your left. Keep turning to your left. Keep turning. There you go. A little bit too far, but it's good enough. Who said spacing?
I did.
What's wrong with their spacing?
1 grenade will take them out, or RPG.
Okay, so you guys think their spacing is too close? Does anybody else think that?
Negative, top.
Why is their spacing not too close?
They need to cover the sightlines top. If the front guy gets too far ahead, there's sightlines that could open up on him that the second guy can't cover if he's too far back.
Who said that?
Sergeant Arch.
Arch is cheating. He's already been to UCS. But he is correct. This is the only scenario in which I am not going to bust your guys' balls about being too close to each other. In an urban environment, you have to close in your spacing. Be able to cover all the fucking angles. Okay? It doesn't fucking work if 1 and 2 have a 10-meter gap in between them, like traditional formation spacing for movement. It doesn't work. 2 cannot properly cover the right side of 1 if 1 is 10 meters out in front of him. He's going to be crossing danger areas well before 2 can even see anything inside of it. You have to keep your spacing close in an environment like this. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that I'm okay with 20 of you hiding behind a fucking small shed. That's still stupid. But 4 of you moving down a street in a file like this, you have to close up your spacing. You gotta try and stay as close to each other as possible. Now, yes, absolutely. There's still a threat of HE coming in, whether it be thrown munitions, RPGs, whatever. That's a fucking threat no matter how big your spacing is. It's always going to be a threat. But our best way to mitigate that threat is to close in our spacing so that we can cover those threat sectors more reliably. Okay? Homeboy doesn't get a chance to get an RPG off if you shoot him in the fucking face as soon as he pops out from behind cover. All right? Everybody understand the difference in what you do for spacing in an urban environment like this and out in that fucking open field at your 5 o'clock.
A from top.
A from top.
First sergeant.
First sergeant.
All right. So, someone that hasn't been to UCS, how does this file start moving? How do we get this file moving down the street?
Top the lead man says moving, waits for everyone to start moving behind him, and then moves.
Anybody else got any ideas? How do we get this formation moving? Nobody else has any ideas. Thank fucking God. Zero was correct. Point man says moving, pauses, and then he starts moving. That pause is to give everybody else a chance, get ready, and start fucking going. Because as soon as he starts rolling, they better be with him. Remember, we got to maintain that spacing. All right, so give us a quick example of that. Go ahead and move yourselves when you're ready.
A from top. Moving.
All right, go ahead and come back. What did they fuck up?
Spacing.
Nope.
They didn't find
Why was the
They
spacing
weren't
fucked up?
Because
Their
they didn't stick
pacing.
together.
They didn't have the right pace.
There you go. Paces were all kinds of fucked up. Point man initially didn't have his weapon up. Number 2 was at a walking pace. 3 and 4 were getting bumblefucked into them because he was at a walking pace. Let's try that again.
Alright, is everyone good? Alright, moving.
All right, go ahead and bring it back. What was the fuck up?
AR didn't have
Last
his
man,
weapon.
not
Last
combat
man's
pace.
not combat pace.
Try it one more time.
Moving.
All right, bring it back. Okay. So are you guys starting to get the idea of how important it is to actually fucking practice this shit?
Yes, top.
Affirm, first sergeant.
Because when you don't practice it, that's how you end up with the fucking coordination skills of the AR there that looks like Stephen fucking Hawking trying to move down the street with a light machine gun. Practice your fucking movements. If you cannot competently control your character within this game, your body position, your pace of movement, so on, you need to practice that shit. If you have to change hotkeys so that you can more easily control your body position and your rate of movement, then fucking do it. Being able to move your body is the most important fucking thing to do. Okay? Pulling the trigger is the easiest thing we do in this fucking game. Hands down, easiest thing. You click one button and it goes bang. Not very difficult. Being able to move your body correctly, I should say, and at least half-ass fluidly, is difficult because, well, it's fucking hard to try and move your body in the same way that you would in reality. Okay, shit like this, maintaining spacing, breaching and clearing rooms, grabbing sectors and shit like that, it's a hell of a lot easier to do in real life than it will ever be in any goddamn video game. So you have to practice this shit. Whether you do it on your own time, whether you do it with the rest of your fire team, which I highly fucking recommend, or the rest of your squad, do it. Okay, the official server, believe it or not, is up at all times. The 2 training servers, also up at all times, with a template on it, ready to go. There is nothing saying that you and your 3 buddies in your fire team can't hop on the official server and practice movements, maneuvers, radio communications, whenever the fuck you want. Provided there isn't a class or training going on there, you are more than welcome to hop on that server and practice any fucking thing you please. Alright, everybody clear on that?
Cool.
Cool.
Alright. Does anybody have any questions on anything we've covered so far?
Negative.
Negative top.
Negative, first sergeant.
Negative for certain.
Negative for certain.
Alright. So, what I want to see during this training, you guys practicing all the shit that we just went over, especially, you know, moving with your weapon up, keeping your weapon where your head is, so on and so forth. All right. Abuse the fuck out of those sight lines. Be aggressive. Push the enemy. Don't just sit behind a fucking building. If you have a machine gun engaging down the street, don't just sit behind the goddamn building over there and keep poking your head out like it's a game of goddamn whack-a-mole and get shot in the face. Fuck that. Push around the building and then push on the enemy position. You can't pull security when you're being actively engaged and you can't actually secure that sector. I've heard that excuse too many fucking times. Oh, we can't push, we're holding security. You ain't securing dick hiding behind a building. Be aggressive. Combat the known threat. All right, everybody clear? Outstanding. All right. Sergeant Owens.
Sergeant Brewer.
They are all yours.
Thank you very much. Alright, lads, we're going to go back through the flagpole to the live fire number 1, the northeast end. I will brief you over there. It is a safe environment as long as you stay behind the wall. There are live fire targets on the other side of the wall. So keep it tight, go through the TP.
Alright, going through the TP, guys.
You guys heard him.
Let me know when you're there.
Delta, did you make it back?
I did stand back.
Got that.
Rob is having overtime now.
To familiarize yourself.
Hey, move away from the pole so that people don't get pushed past the wall.
Bring it in tight.
Push over
Don't
here
go
to
the
the
gas
right.
on the wall.
Everybody here?
Over here,
It's here.
over here,
Apple's all
over
here.
here.
Oh, it's here.
Turn around.
Raise, you here?
Delta,
Holding you here.
I'm right here.
Bravo, here.
Charlie, Chris.
Sabres here.
Bravo, you here. Opposite.
Alpha, you here?
Copy that.
Yeah,
Closer.
Alpha's here.
2-1's all here.
2-4's all here.
2-3's here.
Roger. We're going to get a chance to correct ourselves after doing it before we do the big one. So this is step 2. Open up your maps. You are in the vicinity of grid 0778 on the northeast MSR, specifically 078787. We will have a squad at a time, supported by 2-4, clear down this MSR to the southwest, with your limit of advance being the intersection. You will also have visual markers of the HESCO barriers securing your intersection. You are to clear all buildings within this AO. So I can even give you a little drawing on C-map. There we go. Anybody not know where they are? So 2-4, we're going to run through this 3 times. 2-4, you will run through it each 3 times, with coordinating with the other squad on Platoon net with your AT team and your MG team. We'll have 2-2 run first. Now we are undermanned, so be prepared for a bit of reorganization so you can at least go through this bit with a full 10-man squad. So 2-2 has 1 man missing. I need 1 volunteer to jump on their team net, doesn't matter what your loadout is, and then switch back to your original squad. So everybody at 2-2 stand up. Trooper?
Sorry, Nose, I don't think we're actually short.
Yes. So that's what everyone was.
Did you pick up a 10th man, did you?
No, unless Corporal B. Dunn over here is coming in.
Done. Sit down.
Okay. We'll just run 2-2 as is. Alright, so on my command, you will move through the gap in the green military wall and sit behind the concrete wall. Then you will, on my next command, begin to execute and clear down this MSR or buildings till you reach the LOA. You will be able to coordinate with 2-4 on platoon net. So 2-4, stand up. Are you ready?
Yes, Sergeant.
Outstanding. Alright, any questions, Sergeant Trooper, Sergeant Collins?
Do you have any particular spot where you want us setting up for support, or just as we go?
Well, this is what it's all about. You would want to cover, the enemy's avenues of approach. So the road, in case an armor piece comes down to it, be prepared for the fields on the side. But don't sit in the fucking street. Remember what we just did with the first sergeant, what we just spoke about. So, sink or swim here. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Sergeant.
All right. For those members of 2-1 and 2-3, you are going to, as soon as you get above the green wall, go as fast as you can to the top of the tower and lie down. Do not engage the enemy. If they shoot at you, so be it. We're going to leave it up to 2-2 and 2-4 to clear them out. So, 2-4, 2-2. When you're ready, get on the concrete wall.
All right, boys, let's go. Lock and load.
2-3, you do not need to lock and load.
Lock and load.
On the wall. Push that back and load.
2-1, are we heading up the tower now, or are we waiting?
Lock it up. Lock and load, rather.
Delta's on the right side of the wall.
We're going up to the tower.
Charlie's gonna go on the left
Copy that.
Okay, we're going for the right side tower.
This is outside. Right. Still missing right from
When you're ready to...
2-4 is going to be on the left-hand side.
2-7, this is 2-2.
2, send it.
And be advised, I'm still missing one guy. My brother
Stay on the
just full
southeastern
alphas,
side of the wall.
down one man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Actual interrupt if you want to ask 2-2 if they want to have Charlie team attached to
Yeah,
their
we're fucking
squad.
good to go.
Copy that.
Ready, Strickland.
This is up over on the southeast end of the wall.
Yeah.
You sure you chill to your rails set the 1-4 in case it fell down.
Inside with the specialist holding looking
2-4, this is
Copy.
2-2.
Send it to 2.
Don't moderate this.
Collins, you want to take the right side of the road? We'll take the left, or,
Yeah,
or you want to split it up between the guys?
Yeah, we'll take the right-hand side. Do
I
you
got
want
that
me to
east,
detach
how
one of my AT teams with you in case you run in armor?
That would be great.
Go ahead, Munson.
All right. Zier, you're going to go with 2-3. 2-2, sorry.
Copy that.
No, for Bravo,
where's
listen up, Alpha,
fucking
you're going to take us out
actual?
on port down this MSR. Bravo,
Over
you're
here
going to
down
rear.
there.
We're staying on the left side
Oh,
of the
the
road.
last one.
All right, fellas, stick with me and Mike.
Oh, copy. We're moving now.
We'll do.
2-4, this is 2-2. We're going to go ahead and start proceeding. On your go.
Go ahead and move. Copy.
Copy that. Ready to go.
Docks and
Roger. Stand by, stand by. Stand by.
All right, let's get ready to go, guys. Prepare.
Are we still waiting on top?
No.
Delta's good to go.
Alpha's good.
Charlie's staying by if they want me on their squad.
Got me.
Yeah,
Copy that.
Yeah, Mike, use your radio.
Sergeant, if you want me on your squad net.
Yep. 1-2-2.
Alright, you're up to this.
Have ours as his alternate Zier.
Copy
We're
that.
going to be with Sergeant Boat.
You're
Yes.
Alright, Havoc 2, we're beginning.
Fellas, when we go, you're going to be
Havoc
taking us
2,
out.
Begin exercise. 2-2, 2-4, take us out.
Bravo.
Want one of the 240s to go first?
Do you want us
Alright,
to left side?
2-2. Let's
All right,
get this show on
let's
the
go.
road. Moving
Strickland,
out.
you take point.
Alright, Alpha's moving. Hey, what the
Okay,
fuck's
no move.
wrong with Arch? Moving.
All right,
Staying on the left.
take point. 2-4 is moving.
Right side.
This guy's on a fucking treadmill and passing.
Go ahead, go.
Remember, we're clearing every building, so we're gonna hit this white building first.
So, watch them.
This is Alpha.
Think
We're gonna
about
hit this one-story white building.
what you can do when you can.
Got towers at the end of the road.
Contact. Move up to the building.
Sounds like it's coming from the left.
I just saw Hillary.
Copy that.
I'm up. Like that.
Copy that.
Pushing the contact.
All right, they are engaging on the left-hand side building.
Mike, one of my guys just got hit when we were moving up. I need him. Need help on him.
Provide some support down.
Trooper, I'm right behind you.
Taking fire.
I think you came from this window. Yep.
Where it's coming from. I think second story building, that brown building.
Yeah, I just saw him through that window. Alright, hop on over.
All right, give them some cover, guys, while they're
We
clearing
got
out the building.
contact to this building, guys.
I'm clearing with actual.
Guys, we gotta go and clear this red building.
I'm on you.
All right, we're clearing this red building that we're right next to.
Who's up? We're cleaning out. Exit. Room's clear.
Windows
Oh,
look
wait, hold
clear.
on. I'll
Yes, hold the perimeter,
Kill
Gillen.
him on your 6.
copy.
Opening door.
Alpha copies. We'll take the rear.
First building you guys come across, go ahead and call out what you're taking.
One left.
Watch this shack in the compound.
Watch the shack, Gillen.
Send yourselves up, wherever you're at.
Thank you.
With me, Alpha.
Moving.
I got the
Alpha,
stairs.
move on actual.
Yeah, roger that, Bravo. Go ahead and execute and hit that building. Alpha, push past it. This 2-story. Got attack.
Going right.
2 floors, 2 contact this 2-story building up ahead of us. You go ahead and push online with us clear across the street. How copy, over?
Going in, going left.
Good copy. Finishing clearing out a building we were taking contact from. One mic.
Cannot go up in this top floor.
Good copy.
2 friendlies coming out. 4 friendlies coming out. I'm sorry.
Alright, we're moving back up online to advance up with 2-2.
Damn, he did not want to die.
Christ.
Alright, building clear.
1 contact down across the way in the next compound.
Copy that. Alright.
He was inside of a building.
Alright, 2-4's ready to go.
Alright, moving up.
Collins, I'm behind you.
Copy that.
Watch that top roof, that top window in front of us.
Alright, back right.
2-4, go ahead and clear that building that you're at right now. Then we'll go ahead and proceed online together.
Copy that. Alright, let's clear this building out, boys.
I got the street.
Give me 1 second. I'm
I got
that is.
Watch
Yellow
these
building?
other doors here.
I got the street.
Got a ladder up here.
Strike that. Alpha's got the street.
Alpha, keep pushing up. We're gonna move to these yellow buildings.
Got this door held.
Contact up top.
Go over this fence.
Shit.
You guys are right over there?
I'm good, but we've got a contact on the top floor.
Roger that. Bravo, go ahead and take the one closest to us.
Strickland, if you got a frag and you can get it, toss it.
Chocolate.
Shit, Alpha assistance down.
Going up.
I got security outside.
I'm bandaging you.
Yeah, I'm working on
Top floor's clear.
I
working
got
on
your
leg.
right leg. Alright, here's
Coming
a
down, guys.
morphine.
Collins, I need you over here. I got 1 building we can get into.
Reloading.
Copy, moving over.
Get into all these doors.
On you, tell us.
I'll watch
Opening.
these two while you.
Yeah, alright.
Flying.
What, you want Strickland on
Got 1 dead.
this?
Don't have anything to the left. Going left.
Negative. He should be with you.
Copy.
Got another hallway.
Send it to 2.
Say anything. Going in, going left. Building's clear.
Alright, this one right here.
Copy that.
Door.
Alright, we're gonna move up with them. We're gonna move up and set up position as they're moving up.
Alright, go.
Delta's on Gillen. Scratch. Delta's on Alpha. Alright, Gillen.
I'm Alpha.
BTR down the road. I got clear sight lines. Charlie, I shot.
Take it if you got it, Charlie.
Let's scout the next shot. Move.
Strickland, stay back.
Hit it on the nose. Is it good?
Negative effect, still up.
It's
Wait,
smoking,
smoking. Watch for dismounts. Gun's still active though.
Good stuff, yeah.
He's down. Mike's right here.
Oh, Jesus. Thanks,
I was
Mike.
trying to get him out of the line. Alright, it's going up.
No pay meds necessary.
Alright, yeah, you're good, you're good.
2-2, you guys still good?
Charlie, did you take a second shot at it?
Alright, we're all set. We're moving up. This is Charlie, negative. He hit me as I fired.
Copy that. Built up. Hey, be advised, 2-2's way up there, and we've got a lot of ground to cover.
Copy that, 230. Alright, this building 230 is where we're moving up to.
2-3.
Alright, pause, go in good cover, and we'll set up TP. 2-4 copies. Just stay in cover, guys.
Pausing. Up cover.
Just stay in good cover. Also, I had eyes on that corner of that building right there.
Watching that building right there.
Second story window.
I see the barrel.
Street.
Copy.
Yeah, there's a barrel sticking out.
Oh, oh.
Alright, disregard.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Condition report when you're.
I should have been sent down the route TP. I was hoping you could hear me yelling for those in the towers. Pause X. Everybody face me. So the 2-1, 2-3 in a moment. Prepare yourselves to clear the second half of the town from the other end. Let's talk about 2-2 and 2-4. I'm going to hand it over to you guys straight away. How do you think you went? What did you do well? What can you improve?
If I may, Staff Sergeant.
Of course, Sergeant Trooper.
The initial movement was good. There was a time where 2-4 was a little bit far behind us. I understand that you guys were covering us, correct, as we moved to the towns?
A-firm.
Alright. There was a time I did, guys, call you up to stay online with us so I can get you guys into better cover for once we got into more of the buildings. I understand you guys got a good range, a good angle on where we were at, but it's best if you guys just stay online with us, help us clear, help us cover.
Yeah, the time that you're referring to, we ended up having a enemy in the second floor of one of the buildings. Took out one of my guys as we were trying to clear it up, so we were trying to finish taking him out.
Copy that. Yeah, just keep me aware, keep me updated on what's going on with you so I know at all times. Communication is key throughout the time of clearing buildings.
Copy that.
Other than that, movement was good. Communication was good between my squad and each other. So, I got nothing else.
Thanks,
Sergeant Collins had something.
Mainly just some basic stuff with our squad definitely working better on clearing the buildings. I know, especially with our 240s, usually we're going to have them setting up supporting fire outside, but just something we got to work on as a squad to get better at. And I definitely know I need to work on the communication, the platoon level, just to make sure that we're communicating of what we're doing.
Thanks, Sergeant Collins. I'll throw in my 2 cents. There was good coordination between 2-2 and 2-4. You realized what you wanted to pick up, like when they fell behind, it was to do with the terrain, that they still had you covered. As long as they can see you and they can see the enemy, they have you covered. Obviously, you want to coordinate whenever that happens, regardless of orders, that you lose that slide. I would like to see in 2-2 and 2-4. I would like to see 2-4 cover the road a little more in good cover, from good cover, and the armor pieces. I'm glad you got to clear some buildings, and given to the size, 2-2 spread your squad out either side of the street, as long as your teams can support each other and clear that way. It will work a little bit more smoothly. That's how we've been doing it in the FTXs. So we'll skip 2-4 going in with the next squads, and I think due to the manpower, we can have 2-1 and 2-3. I would like to open it over to the other squad leaders. Would you like to add anything for that example? Can you do something? Are you ready for your example going forward? I know 2-1 had something.
Oh, I do have something. Who was on the right side clearing? Was it 2-4?
A-firm.
When you guys cleared that building, well, actually, on both the compounds you cleared, you guys passed doors that you hadn't checked to see if either A were secure or B were occupied. The first one was a shack that had 2 guys in it that could have popped out when you were clearing that red building and coming up your butthole. You left one guy out in the street by himself without a battle buddy for a good 30 seconds to a minute. The second building you went into, entire squad piled into the first building on the left, and no one went to the outbuildings that were all occupied and had a PK gunner shooting at both you and 2-2 before that. Because of that, like, that's what slowed you down, because you moved in with enough force, but if you don't need more than 2 guys, send them to the building. Keep them clearing.
Copy that.
So, sorry, Collins, are you aware how to unfuck that?
A-firm. Definitely do it with just the battle buddies instead of trying to send in the whole fire team. If we don't need it.
And keep them together and identify those buildings that need clearing. You got to cover the sidelines. Any general questions, comments, concerns? Forever hold your peace. Okay, 2-1, 2-3, lock and load. You're going to head through the flagpole to
Lock and load.
fire 2, the southwest end. You will organize your squad on the other side and move out at your discretion. Send it over 120 that you are moving out. Make sure the other squad is ready. For all those in 2-2 and 2-4, give them a minute. There are towers on the other side that we will climb to observe. 2-1, 2-3, move out.
You heard live fire southwest end.
So, just gonna be a minute.
I felt like our inner team comms are fucking on point, by the way.
Oh.
2-1's 2-1's in.
Who said that? Who?
We're on an iron sights the entire time, too.
Is it nice?
Alright, get up the tower as quick as you can.
Alright, we're heading over. Get up the towers as quick as we can.
Over.
Left fire 2.
Over.
You said left?
Left fire 2, go to the left tower.
Left and left, got it. Delta's here, by the way.
Copy that, Delta.
Where do I want to go?
Copy, moving. Clear wall, let's go.
Be advised,
Charlie's in tower.
Bravo.
2-3, where are you? On the left side of the road.
Copy, we are moving.
Alright. Copy. Send it for 2-3.
Strickland, get down.
Copy, we're moving too.
You tell 2-2 to push across the road, we'll cover him.
2-3, you're on the
Make sure you're down.
Alpha.
Hey, actually.
Safer.
Oh shit. Top floor.
I almost instinctively popped up and tried to cover him.
Hurry up, get
Don't
across
do
this
it.
road and get this first building in.
Shit.
Is that coming from this brown building to our right?
Left, let's clear going right.
I think so.
Oh shit.
2-2, be careful about exposing yourself on these towers. You want to get
That's coming
blocked
down
down.
range.
Careful about exposing yourself.
Bravo copies.
Just jump in cover. Jump in.
Looks like everybody's staying down, so.
Is there anybody on that second floor? I can't see.
That brown one? Yeah, on the far left.
Okay, gotcha.
Bravo, get in there. You got one side, you go.
Yeah, moving forward.
Left side, let's go.
I have no idea where I'm on.
I'm so mad I nudged the shot.
I'm sad.
It happens, man.
You're right.
It's okay, I blew him up with
Long
BP.
shack.
He's looking through the ground. Look at that aimbot.
Okay, we're gonna move across.
Oh, he just got fucked up.
Roger, go ahead. I have no
Yeah,
idea
it did.
where I'm on.
Clear that too.
Move it.
If you're on the tower, go to Whisper.
Alright, it's clear.
Make sure you guys run Whisper.
Paint on the bar.
Delta copies.
sure I'm working first. Alpha Cup.
Off is good, we're good.
Opening.
3 out.
Mark, let's clear this little fucking shit out here.
Copy.
Don't worry.
Yeah, that's good. No.
Phil, do you not have a sight? I think it may have asked you this before.
Rob, are you in that,
I just took it off
purpose?
that round. Yeah. It was a lot more effective than having that giant ass thing. Just don't like seeing over it. Oh, this weapon. But yeah, there's no sights for it. You just look over it.
You're not wrong.
Who's still on the right side? I think that's 2 ones.
If you know how to shoot.
A little bit more difficult.
Monterey, go ahead and put your magazine in your backpack.
Don't die, Simon.
Wait, this does.
Don't blow into the wall. Yep.
One on the right side, okay.
Yeah,
No, not the
squad on the
bad
right's
guy.
still
Yeah, if there's a T90 out, you could probably kill that Zir.
fine. Oh, easy.
That's what I'm saying. AT4 is not going to do shit to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they just hope they hit it up the ass. Oh, if they come across the Armada, I'm pretty sure you guys have to start shooting.
I've tried. You can't kill it.
Here they come.
Zeus ideas.
There's still one. Or 2-4.
A or is it A?
I really
Are they all gonna hop over the wall?
see it. Machine guns.
Probably.
Hmm.
At least that would be an idea.
Someone shot right there.
Yeah, there we go. Finally switched.
How can he see over the wall? That's a T3, actually.
Yeah, you need to get him up into.
They could ask for HE permission.
Oh, they're moving up on the left.
Yep.
Yeah, they got to cover
Oh,
on
okay,
the
backside.
I'm half expecting
Go,
the
you-
tank to
That's
start
the
rolling
DM
up
You,
on
that
what's
there,
going?
second road off to the
He's in
right.
the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
I think that guy's having trouble getting over the wall.
Yep.
He's gonna have his jump bind.
Oh, there's frag.
What's that?
Oh, there's the mic
There
crap
goes
on the wall.
Mike.
You gotta watch that sight line into that second floor.
See, they got their saw in that back corner, covering that entire compound.
Yeah, which is a smart idea.
Mike, all by himself. Simon.
No, I'm right here.
So if you're about to breach,
Yep.
stacking up.
Still gotta get that white building, or is that?
I can't remember if that white building's one that they hit with us.
That's the only one.
Index. Rally back at the towers. Alright, everybody's up on the tower. Let's go down to the flagpole.
Bottom of the tower, flagpole.
Down.
Yep.
2-4 copies.
Don't repel, you're gonna embarrass yourself.
Blue smoke out for reference, just in case. There's a few lost people.
Blue smoke out for reference.
Smoke.
There's blood on the ground. May want to check for injury.
Guys, when you get to the ground, make sure you check for injuries.
Tabor, Hanson, get out of that tower. 2123, quadruple time it down the road.
Sorry about that, I rolled my ankle.
Yep.
Bravo's here.
You're jealous, I know.
It is. He's coming.
Can't ask him joke.
It's Colgan.
Colgan, is that you in the back?
Alright, Cole's got him.
You're here.
Colgan, Colgan.
Bravo's on down.
I think it was
2-3's here.
You need
Colgan,
medical
your mic working?
treatment. Sing to a mic real quick.
Copy. The guy in the back is
Tense,
Alpha.
you here? Stab by Havoc 2, I'm just going to put a resupply box that you will use after we finish our little pause X. I'll do that in a bit. Alright, well done 2123.
Copy.
Let's hand it over to you. What do you think you did well? What do you think you'd like to do better? Hit us with it.
Sergeant Owens, if you may.
Of course.
I think for me, for being 2-1 actual, I think I was pushing more ahead and not leading my guys more, so that's something I got to work on more, pushing Alpha and Bravo instead of me just going forward and all that. But 2-3 was good communication. That's it for me.
Understood. It's definitely something every squad leader goes through, some more than most. Anything for your squad overall, or your communication and stuff for 2-1, 2-3?
No, everything was good between Alpha and Bravo.
Sergeant Anderson?
Thank you, Sergeant. The squad did really well, talked well between each other. I'm a 2-1. You had a few buildings clear on that right side, but it was good that we were working together and bounding up that road together and covering each other's sectors when we needed to. And that's it. Thank you, Sergeant.
So nothing specific?
Specific as in good, I reckon at one stage there was a brown barn I reckon 2-1 was set up at, that they were covering our approach because we had no cover or anything. We just had an open field. Could have used smoke, but mountain environment, and it was probably better to have guns covering that direction instead of smoke. But yeah, I thought we did
I'll
quite
throw
well.
my 2 cents. Thank you, Sergeant Anderson, and then I hand it to the other squad leaders on the floor and the first sergeant.
We can't hear you, Sergeant.
Sergeant Owens, you got real quiet all of a sudden.
Apologies. Can everyone hear me now?
Affirm, Sergeant.
Thank you, guys. I like the work between the teams. I noticed you had split off into buildings near each other, and you were in support of each other. You were keeping that sight lines and spacings, and you were ready to fight. So Good work to the teams there. That was some good to see. I was gonna put out communication because it looked like you were controlling your squads well, but that's half of it. The other half is that now you got to coordinate with the rest of the platoon. I'm as a fellow squad leader, I'm not on your position. I can't see everything or know all your details. You need to say, hey, we finished this. This is our situation. This is what we're doing next. 2-1 said that. 2-3 responded with that. So that was good communication there. All you can do from here on a global level is just speed up the execution and go and get some. That's it from me, Sergeant Trooper, or Corporal Collins. Sergeant Collins? Apologies.
Good.
Do you have anything?
I'm good.
Good as well.
Excellent. Now, being that we just did what the First Sergeant gave us, some great instruction. First Sergeant Brewer, how do you feel
Oh boy, here you go.
in this small portion here?
Well, what do you guys want? You want me to blow smoke up your ass or tell you what you fucked up?
Tell me what I fucked up.
That's what we fucked up.
All right, follow me. Let's go. We're going on a little field trip.
Dude, follow top.
Alright, follow First Sergeant.
Follow the First Sergeant.
Helps up.
All right, go ahead and hold up right here.
Hold up to this barn right here.
Hold up at the barn.
All right. So, at least from what I've seen, you guys did fairly good right up until you got to this point here. And that's where it kind of went to shit, from my point of view. So, who was over on the right side here?
That was 2-1.
2-1? All right. Who was over on the left?
2-3.
2-3? All right. So, what I want to point out here isn't necessarily that you guys did it wrong, but you could have done it better. So, when you got up to this point, guys behind this wall right here started getting engaged from down there towards that compound, right?
Yep.
You guys remember that? And what happened? Everybody fucking froze behind that wall. And I seen one guy pop up and start putting rounds downrange there. Who was that popped up and shot down there?
First Sergeant.
Ben, did you actually drop the shooter down there?
Copy.
Okay. So, what could have been done that would have not only been safer, but would have further aided 2-3 over on the other side, as soon as you guys started getting engaged, use your sight lines. You guys could have backed off that wall, moved around the back side of those buildings, the back side of this barn, and pushed up onto this dirt mound right here and set up a support by fire position from right there on that mound. So you guys would have popped up nowhere near where the enemy was expecting to see you, behind this fucking wall. Once you had that position set up, 2-3 could have pushed up through these backyards, up onto that compound, and started clearing that out. Could have been way, way more aggressive there than what you actually were. All it needed was for squad leads to slow down, take a fucking second, and look at their options. Okay, that is one thing that squad leads don't do enough. You guys get wrapped up in the gunfight and start engaging. It's not what you're there for. Your squad's got fucking plenty of rifles, plenty of machine guns to engage the enemy. You need to start weighing options immediately. As soon as you get to a position, you need to look at your path of travel to another position. As soon as you get somewhere, you should start weighing options on where you're going to next and how you're going to do it. As soon as you get there, don't fucking raise your weapon and start trying to engage the enemy. Start trying to figure out how you can move your squad to your next position. Especially in this situation where you have an active shooter who's engaging you if you were around this right-hand side. How can you get your squad out of that position that's being accurately engaged into a safer position, all the while aiding your sister squad that is going to push up on that area and clear out the enemy. So little shit like that is what you have to think about as a squad lead. All right, everybody clear on that? Now, as I said, you guys didn't necessarily do it wrong, but you could have done it better. So you guys, not even really just squad leaders, but team leaders as well, don't forget to just kind of back it down for a hot second, think, and then act. Sergeant Salvatore in here by chance? He is not. All right, one thing that we pointed out to the guys last night in UCS is UDA. All right, observe, orient, decide, act. It's one of the big things that we do, especially at a leadership level. Observe what's going on around you, orient yourself to what the current state is within your AO, make a decision, and then act upon it. Right? We tell you guys all the time, making no decision is worse than making a bad decision. So just keep that in mind. Observe, orient, decide, act. All right, that's all I got, Sergeant Owens.
Roger, First Sergeant. All right, Havoc 2, it is 17:33, right on schedule. We're going to continue to clear some towns. It is going to get 10 times harder from here. So be ready. And you're going to have all 4 squads. So the platoon net needs to be crisped and communicating with each other. And the other 2, it's easy with 2 rifle squads. Now you got 3. Remember to use weapons and weapons. Get your squad involved in the fight. Team, get your team involved in the fight. Get yourself involved working with your battle buddies and teammates. I'm going to give you a briefing right here. You are going to resupply back under the tower. Then you are going to take the flagpole to and occupy the COP Johnson, lock and loaded. Lieutenant Tell, what is the name of that teleporter? COP Johnson, I assume.
Affirm, COP Johnson.
Okay, if you guys open up your maps, look in the vicinity of grid 1876, you will see COP Johnson. We will occupy that after resupply and my order to go through the pole. Their assault. We will move southwest and clear all buildings inside the vicinity of Schwemlitz. Do not worry about the sandpit. If we manage to succeed at that, we will continue northwest up the MSR. I love the instruction dot. And clear all buildings within the town of Brushwoodle. Always pay attention to that order because it's different every AO, whether you're clearing what you take contact from or clearing all buildings. We are clearing all buildings. Pretty straightforward. You know what the Op 4 looks like. You know it's just us out here. If we can get a JTAC, Lieutenant Avery might give us a bit of burr. But standard chain of command, we just reorganized, and SOP, so there's nothing out of the ordinary. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative.
Fuck yeah. Alright, resupply
I have
and
one, Sergeant.
stand by to... Oh.
Are civilians in the AO?
Everybody chill. Go ahead, Sergeant. Unknown. So restrict HE at this time.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Alright, boys.
Identify the AO for... Stand by. We will identify the AO for civilians when we get there. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? Alright, resupply, stand by for the order. Squad leaders, let me know when you guys are good to go.
Resupply, let me know when you guys are ready.
Supply, we did.
Let me know when you're resupplied.
Delta go.
DACA's good on supplies.
Okay. Oh,
Once
okay.
I'm out the box.
Bravo Captain.
Say again.
Roger.
I'm gonna take one more gold.
You did this, Bravo?
Keep everyone alive. Say again?
Go ahead.
Definitely.
Be advised, Mall's rounds are not in there.
The first day I wrote like clear.
2-3, once you've resupplied.
Copy that.
Southwest side of
From
the
my understanding that we are
When y'all
clearing
done
all
resupplying,
buildings.
come over here to the
Top
southeast.
first and second? Okay.
Delta is at 2 rounds HET.
Give everybody some room.
I'll double check
I'll
for
copy.
you.
With the chosen.
Copy that, Delta.
Bravo copies.
Good, Circular?
Are we clear to teleport?
Yeah, I'm good.
Negative.
Alpha's ready to go.
Copy. Charlie, it was an arsenal. I got you.
Push blue, Monson.
You got me next one?
Copy that.
Hey, Firm, put me in your back.
Thank
you, sir.
Green light when you're ready to go.
Firm.
Yep.
Clearing all buildings.
Yeah, just so everybody's clear, we're clearing all
Copy that,
buildings in
clearing
both
all buildings.
sectors.
Sergeant Collins?
Delta's good to go. Resupply.
Where are you?
Charlie.
Comes.
Lock and load.
Alpha's all here.
Go ahead and lock and load if you haven't
Where
already.
is 2-4 squad leader?
Right here, Sergeant.
Guys, be safe out there.
Thanks, Mike.
Reloading
Tracer.
Sorry, my things were
Haley,
broken.
you good to go?
Alpha, how you travel?
Slow.
See you out there.
This is Bravo, we're green.
Alright, go ahead and meet us over at the south.
Havoc 2, this is 2-1.
Yes, heads up.
2-1, send it.
2-1's ready
Alright,
to go.
guys. You guys ready to go?
Asking
Roger,
over
2-1, stand by.
Alpha's ready to go.
Mike back on comms.
Charlie's good to go.
Copy, Mike.
Delta A
Missing
firm.
anyone? No.
Roger, stand by 2-2.
2-4's ready to go.
2-3's ready to go.
Roger, 2-4, 2-3. Havoc 2, stand by.
Are we gonna detach like we did earlier? Because that was actually
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, I think I might detach at least one of you two.
Don't take a knee. Just keep standing.
I love the fact that way you report your rifle. Overpressure would split my pants.
Havoc 2, let's roll. Occupy COP Johnson.
Alright, let's go. Occupy COP Johnson. Lock and load.
Good.
Hang back,
Johnson,
let everybody
Johnson,
get there first, so move.
Should we lock and load before moving?
Bravo, copy.
Get a look.
Alright, let me know when you're here. Set up defensive positions.
Actually, this is
Delta's
Bravo.
here. I'm being told west is the way to look.
This is true.
Copy that. Look west. Charlie's on the list. Copy that. Moving up to you, Charlie. Delta is in a small bunker to the right of the building. Copy that.
South. 2-2, get to the south. Take security.
Get to
Get to the south,
northeast,
security.
the tower.
Northeast.
Pull out.
Don't know if you found one.
I got Alpha set up on
I don't know. Some of the HQ's out.
Alpha, you all set?
Oh, it's
Come over to the northeast.
Copy, I'm pushing.
Changing
that, we're
ask
pushing
to
northeast
east
to tower.
attach. Now's the time.
Copy. Northeast.
2-1, some traffic.
Copy that.
I'll give you the spot.
Tower's full.
Come
Come
down.
north, northeast tower.
You guys here?
Roger.
Roger, 2-1.
Copy, I'm on the southeast.
2724.
So hold on, HQ tower.
Send it 2-4.
Want to
Something that
attach
you-
one of my
Hogan, if that's you,
AT teams to one of the rifle squads. Want to make sure that was approved.
Make sure they know, and it's fine with me, and it needs to be established on their squad net.
Alpha, you'll hit.
Okay,
Copy that.
your handset, make sure your radio is not muted. We can't hear you.
Interrogative, which squad?
Charlie,
Attachment.
Delta Charlie.
I'm about to
Go for
detach
double.
into 2-1.
2-1, how do you feel?
Do you want to detach or
Very
do you want me
good.
to detach? I'll take detachment this time.
Would you prefer a
Roger that.
Oh, you guys here?
gunner
Yeah,
attached
Hogan
to
with
from
Yep.
2-4?
I'm with you.
Good shit.
Yeah, send it.
Actually, break. Disregard
look.
the attachment for now.
Northwest.
2-4, keep your AT team ready. Just, start
Watch that
occupying
west.
roads and fields.
Yeah, that's the direction I gotta make sure. You can see the buildings right now.
To position,
Yep.
if need be.
You guys
Scratch
moving
that.
southwest.
Disregard that.
So to 2-1, disregard.
Yeah, Delta heard.
2-1 copies.
Having 2-3's all here, over.
Roger. Alright, Havoc 2, we're gonna move out. 2-2, you are on point.
We're gonna move
followed by
2
2-4.
airplanes.
How copy?
Alright, we're gonna be second in line.
2-4. And stand by for the rest.
2-2's gonna be on
Roger.
point.
Who's taking the lead?
Behind.
2-2 still
Where
lead.
It's gonna be on point.
Move out.
Alright, let's go.
Delta, copy. 2-2, then 2. Then 2-4.
Side you're on take.
Yeah, they're on point too. We have no idea where we are
Not on the backside.
2-4's moving to the entrance.
Northern side.
Charlie, taking the
Top.
take right side.
Stop moving.
Copy.
Actually, be advised, where are we?
Delta will take left.
Are we third, second, fourth?
Stand by.
Zephyr, we just
Havoc
left
2, this is
the
2-1.
entrance. We're on the west side now.
2-1
Stand
for
right.
traffic.
Stand far.
You want us to be the last
Alright,
we're gonna
getting
push
everybody
right.
else. So
platoon?
once everyone's here, we're gonna go.
I'm gonna leave that up to you and 2-3 to work out.
Set up in these
Copy
trees
that.
a little bit to our north since it's open as well.
We're just holding where you're at.
This is 2-3.
Oh, copy. We're on this little.
Delta, you want left or right?
2-3 will take the last position.
Which
in
way
the
are we going?
platoon.
Yep, we're gonna be
West. Alright, going west.
We're gonna be third or fourth in the platoon.
Delta. Never mind. We got it.
First, probably 2-4.
Be in the back of the platoon. So
2-1 will be
Delta, I think Charlie, you and I should take point for our squad.
Strickland, make sure you're with Galen.
We are in the back.
I was.
Okay, we're in the back.
So we're gonna be moving west down this road and then west down the MSR.
Yeah, sure. Let's just stick ahead. We're at the right of
Crossing.
Let's start heading out.
Move up. Copy that.
I just realized my jacket is letting you.
Delta 2-2's getting ready to move.
2-2's moving.
Roger.
Alright, moving out.
Will be behind 2-2 with 2-4.
Alright, Charlie's gonna wait until they're all online and moving. Yep. Delta stepping up. Charlie's alright, going.
2-4 moving.
2-1's moving.
Space it out.
Alright.
In within the squads. Not the squad to squad.
Street and middle street.
Who keeps up with these roads? No one?
5 is 2.
Charlie has eyes on town. Cover that, Charlie.
Everybody fucking halt. Bring yourselves over here. Send it up the fucking line.
Oh,
Bring everybody
hold up.
over here.
Going up top.
Bring everybody over here.
Oh.
Every fucking person in the platoon.
Yeah. All right. Come back.
Run it back.
Bravo copies.
Roger.
Alright, you guys all here?
Head up the road, come around
Yep,
the
awesome.
outside.
Different.
Dave, were you here?
Yeah, I'm off to your right.
Oh, okay, there you are.
Yeah.
Run with me.
Nope.
Yeah, who else? Stand up and run with me. I need to see how you run.
I'm gonna push the north side here.
Alright, double tap your Charlie muscle.
Or be actually going.
Let me know when you're all here.
Mike's here.
You're at walking pace, basically.
Not surprised. You're both annoying.
It's
I
here.
put him past that, Sergeant.
Bravo's all down.
Officer.
Squad leaders, are you all here?
2-4's all here.
2-2's here.
Bravo's here.
Alpha here.
2-3's here.
2-4, say again.
2-4 is here.
All here for Sergeant.
Alright. Can anybody explain to me what the fuck that movement was that we just did?
Fucked up movement.
Did that movement make sense to anyone?
Negative for Sergeant.
Negative.
Then why the fuck did we do it? Where did it come from? Where did the initial movement order come from?
The initial movement order was to move west towards the town. I left it absent to the squad leaders. They organized themselves on the road. By the time we got to about here, my intent was to break us out of this fucking file, rolling straight towards the town we're clearing our buildings from.
Okay. What I'm not understanding here is we had an exit to that little COP at the south end. We moved out of that southern exit. The town was pretty much southwest of us. So we come out of the southern exit of the COP and go north to get on a road to walk in a staggered column down to the MSR. The COP is like right fucking there. We basically walked in a big circle because as soon as we got out here, guys started walking that way. It made no sense whatsoever. We could have walked out of the COP, headed direct south, got up to this road, and then pushed along there, making use of all of that concealment and defilade that we see all along there. So we just spent 5 minutes doing a circle jerk for no reason because the highest level of leadership didn't unfuck it. Middle level of leadership didn't realize it was fucked and didn't unfuck it. And the lowest level of leadership didn't realize it was fucked and didn't suggest to unfuck it. This is what I'm talking about when I tell you guys to take some fucking initiative and stop just blindly following orders. If it didn't make sense to any of you, why the fuck did you just go with it?
Roger, First Sergeant, I'd like to unfuck that time now.
Get it done.
Havoc 2, head back to COP Johnson into your old positions as quick as possible. Then you're going to move out southwest into the tree line towards the intersection. From the intersection, begin maneuvers towards the town, expecting contact. Squad leaders, how copy?
2-1 copies.
2 copies.
4 copies.
You heard them all.
Roger, go, go, go.
Alright, let's head back to COP and then we're gonna move down south.
COP.
Double time.
And if you aren't sprinting, you're doing it wrong.
In your old position.
I'm Rick and Bobby.
I forgot to say who.
You went first, you last.
Say again.
Oh shit, looks like I'm last.
Oh, go back to K rails. We're gonna be back in our old positions.
Solid copy.
Somebody tell Cole to turn his laser off.
Good copy.
Ask me nicely, maybe I will.
Well, turn your lasers off. Actually, are we going to be moving in a platoon line?
I think he's saying hold and not cold.
There is an exit.
I don't think so.
Are we going to be moving in a platoon line straight towards it?
Stand by.
Set up where we were before.
Line up at the exit.
Alright, make sure you line up over at the southern exit.
Which one?
Bravo's out here. Get on the HQ tower again.
Well, we're gonna move southwest towards the tree line.
Squad leaders, just yourself.
Meet up at the
top of the
southwest
HQ building. 30 seconds.
I'll be right back.
Get off the tower.
Yep.
We're gonna head out this exit soon.
2-1's all here.
Northwest side.
We are gonna be just moving out to the southwest, correct?
Northwest side security alpha.
Roger, just the actuals. Come up to the top of the HQ tower real quick.
Sorry, can you carry another bag?
Hold fast. I'll be back in a moment.
Bravo copies. Yeah, stand by the follow you? Huh? I'm just here.
Negative.
You're good to me.
Here we are.
I'm at,
I'll take one too.
I'm at 38 pounds. 38 kilos.
I'm the same weight.
But I can't.
You're not going to do anything, so we're going to work it together.
How much you weigh?
Right now, as we move out southwest towards
McDougal?
we have to begin.
506.
You know, I can't just.
That's a grenadier vest.
Line up.
I still can't jump over.
There's another bag in my
Or use my
Get it fixed when I
My whole fucking thing anyway. For some reason, the uniform or the vest.
I waited till like the very last minute.
Yeah, you got the right uniform.
Bravo, you up in the tower?
Yeah, I changed it.
Negative.
Just
Alpha
changed the
is
wrong,
outside on the K rails.
do the wrong vest.
Roger.
I can't hear anything you're saying, Munson, if you're saying something.
Copy. Maybe if we get desperate enough, I'll just punch the pin with a
Let's roll.
dick and I'll throw
Yeah,
it.
just pull a sick right around.
Yeah.
Alright, Havoc 2, let's roll out southwest.
Roll
towards
out,
the
roll out.
intersection, then begin maneuvers
We're
towards
moving
the
south.
2-2, we're
Alright,
falling right
guys,
behind
go.
you.
2-2, this is 2-1.
Westbound, how copy?
Bravo copies.
Up, copy.
Be advised, don't get to respond to me.
Get out here, get ready to follow Alpha.
2-2 copies all, moving out.
I'm gonna let 2-2 get up a little bit.
Actually, we're moving out.
2-2, this is 2-1, we're going to be falling right behind you.
Actual, do us one much.
Alright,
A-firm.
Alpha Bravo coming to the southwest, we're going to be
Alright,
behind
I'm already on the
2-2.
right side,
How
so I'll
copy?
stay on the right side. Shows. Copy that.
2-3 is gonna fall in at the back.
Come to the south. Come on.
Disregard, we're fucking. We're gonna be third.
We get to the road, alternate to the other side is the squad in front of us.
Collapse and expand.
Charlie's on the road.
Yeah, we're pretty much right inside of Alpha Sphincter right now.
Don't bunch up.
2-2, you gotta move down the MSR more.
Get out of sight, get out of sight.
2-1, I would like to suggest we get into a platoon line.
Copy that, stand by.
We get a platoon line and push online with each other.
2-2.
Alright, we're following him behind him.
I'll start moving.
Actual Charlie's right behind you.
2-4 copies.
2-1 copies. Y'all 2-4?
Make sure we stay in the tree line for now.
Short hold.
This is a strike.
We're gonna be falling right behind you.
Copy.
Copy that.
Hey, ours with
1 second.
All right, guys, let's move.
I'm next to them, sir.
We're moving out.
Okay, we're moving out.
on your left.
Stay in this tree cover.
Actual, this is Delta. Recommend you back behind one of the other team members. Don't want you going down first.
Actually, you want to let me get ahead of you?
Thanks for
Copy
that. Thanks for AT teams. Take point.
Go ahead. Move past. Follow fucking Alpha.
We're following an Alpha.
Alpha, you guys alright?
Yeah, they am.
Alpha, you on me?
Sure.
Just making sure.
Copy, I see you.
Alpha, is that 2-4 in front of you?
Copy, that is 2-4 in front of us.
Alright, let 2-2 know you're coming up on them.
Careful, there's a lot of open ground here. Do we want to give squad?
Yeah, hold up, guys.
Holding.
Be advised, we got a little lake right here.
Alright, set up some cover and fire onto the town so 2-2 can move. 2-2 setting up.
Better position, be pushed right. We got plenty of cover over here on the
2-4
right
setting
side.
up, cover right now.
Charlie's moving to the right with you, Delta. Contact. They got contact.
Probably advised on the right.
Roger, 2-1.
Move right around these guys. Don't get mixed in.
Right.
This is Bravo. We're going to move right through those trees.
That shooter first floor or second floor? Because I'm not seeing him.
Yep, start moving, guys.
Alright, we're gonna
Hey,
cover
Bravo's gonna
2-2,
move right through these
and then we're gonna be on line.
Alright, we're gonna cover 2-2 and just slowly move up.
Copy that. Charlie got dinged. Need to manage.
Be advised, 2-2 is
Copy that.
northwest, swinging around.
We're staying in the tree line for the moment.
Copy that. Actually, we got a thermal scan.
Scanning now.
Well, if they're coming up, they're not covering you.
Middle tan building, left window. Head shots.
Squad is moving oddly quickly.
Those got eyes on that shooter.
Negative eyes.
Back through these woods. Move right around.
Be advised, he's in the short brick building behind the yellow slide.
Copy.
Copy that.
I might have killed him, I don't know.
I don't see him right now.
Yeah, I'll have some eyes.
All of you guys are still in the tree line near the pond, right?
Hey, from to the right.
Right behind you.
Alright. Come on to my side.
Actually, we could crawl through this weed and get to the town.
E-firm. Wait till the other
Just
squad
sit on my
starts
side,
moving in,
I
then
know
we'll move up.
I see you.
Some are moving in from the north side.
That might be better.
Let's chill those faces.
There's a whole tree line to the north side. It's a little bit better to do it that way anyway.
Yeah, that's where they're at. Alright, let's move over there, try to give them a little more cover from the tree line. 2-4 is moving over towards the northern tree line, try to give a little more cover from that position.
Delta step now. It's a pretty open area.
Yep, but we're gonna need to get over there, try to give some better fire.
Charlie Delta across.
2-4 actuals crossing now.
Guess sound off when you cross so we know if anyone can make it.
Oh, let's cross it out.
Alright, actuals over.
Mike, you across?
Yeah, I'm with actual.
Copy that. I'm with the Charlie's with Delta.
Alpha, you all set?
Alpha's short.
Copy that. We're at the edge of the buildings. You want us to push up on the rock walls? A-firm. Just try to provide cover in. Keep an eye on these second floor windows. Be advised, call out for friendlies down the road. Copy.
Alright, 2-4's on the northern side of the town.
Mike just went down. I'm pushing on the fucking
Yep, they got the mic down.
Push south, A-firm. We're pushing south.
Mike's pushing across.
Mike's up, Mike's up.
2-4 up.
Rob, we're gonna push south.
Never mind.
Got the corner. Got the corner.
Rob, you guys cross
Dylan,
the street?
get on the ground and set fire down this road.
Rally up with us there, Alpha.
Strict, be ready to feed him.
Go behind you, Mike, and across the street towards you.
Alpha, deploy your bipod.
Bravo.
Go over Bravo.
Alright, start pushing down.
Be advised, there are friendlies west of us as well. Copy.
Bravo copy. Clear time down.
Delta, Charlie's gonna push across and make this edge to the right.
I'm on. Copy that.
Hold
Be
security
advised,
outside of your
this
building.
2-2, we're heading southbound, clearing out the east side of the buildings.
Popping it.
2-1 clears out the west side. How copy, over?
Alright, going right.
3-1 copy.
Go.
Actually, we don't have eyes on much.
Head straight north on that
Copy.
road. You'll see us on the east side. How copy?
Damn, A-firm, come out.
We just took shots from Short Street.
Mike, I just crossed the road just to provide a little cover that way.
A-firm, we got friendlies over there.
Where did he shot
Alright,
from?
we got friendlies straight down the road, Dylan.
Crossing.
Negative. Mike and I are moving to this yellow building, clear.
Goes to hell position.
Friendlies around the corner, Mike.
Or
There's contacts in there, watch it. Clear it.
Alright, this one looks good. I'm gonna fucking
Actual,
push the building.
come around the other side.
Door 2-7, I tell you.
Yep. Fucking open it.
Ready when you are.
Open the door.
Delta, we got friendlies across. They wanna push up or link up with actual.
Say we wait for actual. At least until they get done clearing the building.
Right there.
Alright.
Door.
Yeah, cover that.
Door and left.
Cover 2 down.
Clear.
Friendly's coming out.
Two coming out. Clear.
Last man coming out.
Friendlies coming out.
Back of the stairs.
Someone get
Charlie,
the
there's a
building
building to our rear, a big white 2-story. We can clear it.
Roger.
Looks like it's been cleared.
It has, green it.
Maybe if we get eyes out
Where
from
you
there.
guys at? Actual, Charlie and Delta are gonna head in the top of this 2-story white building. We're gonna see if we can get eyes out. Right where the green smoke is?
Yeah, get past it.
Negative, to the north. Northwest.
Copy.
Up on the hill.
I was on their opposition, yours.
A-firm.
So look.
Roger, move.
Just in front of you.
Delta looks like there's 2.
Mike, where'd you run?
Alright, so.
I went to the garages to your
behind you.
southwest.
Copy.
Oh,
Alpha, don't bother. No good eyes over here. Copy that.
Where else had a yellow building?
Just past the yellow building, I see you. Hop that brick wall, I'm right over here to the garages.
Actual Charlie Delta linking back up.
Copy that.
Watch that door. See how that door will cover the stairwell.
Yeah.
Right. Hard right.
I should be
One down.
We're gonna have to move south and then move west.
Yep.
2-4 copies.
Alright, crossing this wall.
We are clearing that white
Delta, I'm gonna get on top of this slide, see if I can get us.
That'd help.
Building is cleared here, guys.
Any eyes?
Got friendlies out to the southwest. Looks like they're clearing.
Okay, we're moving.
Copy that.
Let's rally up here on the corner of the yellow building.
Just shout out when you're moving.
Got two doors on the left.
Anything up there?
Can't see anything going in the top and left.
Negative. There's not a lot of open lanes for this for the 240.
Copy that. Alright, let's move down. A little more south, but keep your eyes open.
I'll keep your eyes open.
Going in right on the back.
There's friendly.
Roll left.
Clear.
Fucking
Clear.
pine forest right here in the middle.
Okay.
Are we going for
We get over there.
This is a dead end.
I'm not sure we can get through this. Woods here.
One open space over here to the southwest.
Yeah.
Or actually, negative. Go more west to that open space on the other side of this house.
We're on the west side of the yellow building.
Sure.
Trying to push forward south.
Right, cross.
Crossing.
Crossing.
Got an open space.
Yeah, we can't get through these pine trees, so we're
We can.
turning around.
Okay. No visibility.
Covering.
Is this blue building been cleared?
You went through the wrong side.
You can't get through these
Negative. Let's
fucking
go to the blue
bushes.
building cleared out.
Right here.
2-4's clearance, blue building.
Alright, stack up.
I will hold outside.
Copy that.
Alright.
Through this building here on the right.
Bottom's clear.
Oh yeah, sure.
Got closed doors.
Keep your eyes out.
Left.
See ya.
Windows.
Copy.
Windows look clear. Opening door.
Clear.
Going
Second
left.
floor.
Alright.
Door hallway. It's good.
Opening door.
Upstairs clear.
Going
Copy.
Going right.
I have eyes on here, by the way.
This building's been marked already. It's clear.
No copy. 2-4.
Alright, let's keep moving south, guys. Linking up.
There's a building here that's not
Yep, let's link up with those friendlies.
The big one, the two-story one. Let's do it.
Delta, where you at?
I'm right behind you. I was marking that building.
Got my eyes on. I'll wait for you.
Yeah, get him back behind this fucking wall here.
Bravo, pull back. We need to stay with Alpha.
I'm up.
Copy Alpha, clear that yellow story, and then we're all going to get along this brick wall facing break. Southwest. Oh, is this 2-4? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Send it for 2-3.
Delta, I'm on.
Bravo, we have a yellow one.
Charlie, I'll cover out.
No copy.
Gonna move. Let's move around the right side of this building.
Stand by,
If we can.
are you asking if that's us? Over.
Friendly.
Just a little bit further.
Alright, where are you guys at? I'm still by the brick wall we were at.
Clear on this side.
Clearing this out.
There you are, Matson.
I'm on the outside.
Like 100 guys just
Alright, let's go. Move to the next building. Yep,
Actual.
2-story.
Put enough holes in him?
Charlie taking point.
No, come out.
Bravo, push south.
I got rear security.
Just
Alright,
along the
opening
road.
door.
White building.
Stand up on this road. We're set to push across to the
Alright,
south.
go.
Two Mike, did you get that transmission over?
Bravo, we're gonna push across the road south and check out the first white building.
We got a marksman out to our break southeast.
Pull him back.
Left
Pull
looks
him back.
clear.
Ready?
Yeah, 2-3.
I was pick up.
Going right.
South and
He's
start
up.
clearing.
I guess cover move back.
Two Mike.
Yeah, wait.
Pushing stairs.
So Strickland, now situation you have a squad out say you're
Alright,
two
yeah,
assist.
close door.
I got him.
From
Catch the leg.
And the door with the balcony.
Alright, opening.
Copy.
Guys in that brick building down the
Got a
street.
body.
Hey, can you
Copy.
send a message up to
Bottom left,
27 and ask
window,
him why
bottom
two Mike
left.
Going
isn't
in left.
responding?
Going right.
Joey Strickland.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Balcony.
So that is like I don't know how much squad out say two assist sum it up.
This building might have good eyes.
Got me.
The one coming up.
That was the next White House.
Everyone
see Alpha 26 up.
This
Oh,
is 2-4 Mike.
hold on there.
Checking in 4-2. Over.
Actually,
It's about 100 meters in front of me.
Be advised, big garage buildings to the white had 2 enemy contacts in them. Recommend clearing those out next.
Copy. Moving to those now.
Charlie moving. These ones with the ramps?
Yeah.
Got bodies.
Looks like Alpha's behind you guys too.
Fine.
Coming over.
Looks cross.
2-4 is pushing west to a garage type building.
I'm holding that brown.
Alpha, move to this brick building in front.
I'm coming.
Delta, we got someone here.
Copy that.
Check windows, check windows.
Actual's down.
Back up.
Actual's up.
Yeah, let's hurry up.
Frag into the building.
Give you
2-4
more
just got caught in the funnel.
They're down.
Trying to clear out the buildings now.
Is everyone up?
Think so.
Alpha's up.
Delta's up. Alpha's up. Alright, let's clear this fucking building.
Yeah, copy that. That is right here.
Gillen, cover the outside with your battle buddy.
Should claw me.
Disregard.
Copy, right behind you.
Throw it on the MSR.
Copy, try and get to that yellow fucking building and try and hold there for a bit. We're gonna wait for 2-4 to move up with us and wait for the rest of the platoon.
Looks clear, go. Holding the doors.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Clear.
Cool enough.
I'm southwest.
Got bodies left.
Southwest, push up.
Wait, sure, make sure you watch my flanks.
Another 2 fucking buildings, another 2 houses.
Copy.
Copy. Alright, let's go.
Let's make sure we put a X on all sides of this.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go back and do the garages, or did we already do them?
Get out.
I'm gonna do this little outbuilding to behind it.
Copy that.
There's a little outbuilding behind this one if we want to get this next.
Charlie, I'm on you.
Yeah, I got a few dead.
Axel's Alpha.
Send it.
Where are friendlies relation to us?
Say again?
Where are friendlies to in relation to it?
Copy, we're trying to move up to them now.
2-4 is
I'm holding on the MSR down here. Building.
Delta moving down to this building to our left.
Mike up south, Mike up.
Clear this shit.
Actual in the garage.
Over there already. Clear.
They're too far.
No green axes. Move up. You probably want to move up since
These guys have M16s. The sound of fire doesn't mean it's friendly.
Copy that.
Keep it up, Havoc 2, keep to it.
Roger, got friendlies in front of us on the left too.
Charlie, look to your left. I'm clearing this little garage. Never mind, screen it.
They cleared this section, the town up here.
Did you guys move up? Where are you?
Alpha, can you rake this building?
Yep, we have all around here, so watch your fire.
Hose this yellow building that we're on.
Let's go ahead and fan. Orders push. To where orders push. Let's go.
Second.
tall building.
7 solid copy.
You're good. You're good.
The shit out of me.
Where'd he go?
Down.
He's down.
Alright, let's clear these garages.
I'm marking this floor.
Charlie, I'm on.
Got that. Let's get this yellow building.
Alright, just clear that garage. That garage is behind you too. It's it being occupied by friends.
Opening door. Going right.
I'm at a yellow house on the right side of the road.
Running right.
Negative.
Backside's clear.
Covering the barn. I'm moving with actual to push up on the barn.
On you, Mike.
Fine too.
On you.
Alright, watch the second floor of these barns. I'm gonna go up.
Got something close.
Alpha's outside the barn.
Oh, I hear armor.
Ooh.
Wrong, they get it?
Possibly. Sounded like an AT-4 shot. It had to have been close.
What's the stats on that armor piece?
Still up.
I hear it. I hear it. No cooking.
Down. Collins, push in.
Alpha's pick up.
Gonna go right.
Should we go all the way out?
Hey, get back and get your...
We hit the second brown barn. We got contacts inside.
Copy, moving to the brown barn. We're on the other end from you, Charlie.
Moving to you, Delta. Oh, there's one right inside.
You're gonna open that door, he's gonna be right there.
Delta, I'm moving to this white barn.
I'm on you. On you.
It's one of these ones with 2 stories. Let's clear that out first.
Let's go. Yep. One contact down inside the white barn.
I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in left.
You guys good?
Missed one up there.
Mike's down, Sergeant.
Actual's down.
Be advised, I got another barn on the other side of this white one.
Hey, 2IC, step up on, Platoon one. I gotta work on actual.
Cover up there.
We got Monster, we got Monster.
Negative 2.
On your left. Health.
Havoc 2 is 242, I see checking in. Actual is down at this time, over. He is in the brown barn on the northwest side of town.
It's friendly in there, it's friendly.
Copy. Sergeant, you might want to take lower right side and patch yourself up. You're still bleeding.
Cheers, man.
Copy that. Alright guys, we're continuing west. We're gonna at least leave somebody here with some Colin. Go ahead, 2-3. Got somebody inside.
Alpha's 10 calls.
Southeast,
Copy that,
southeast with a
Pine.
man.
Gotcha.
In our
I'm going in, I'm going left.
Good.
Copy, keep moving.
Where's coming out?
Charlie's up. Hurt.
Alright, Bravo, we have the small garage
See?
check quick to the southwest.
Alright. Cool. Let's go.
You good, Mike?
Delta is actual up.
I just got a patch.
Alright, sorry about that, Alpha.
Hey, there's down stuff.
Alright, come back here when you're good and healed up, okay?
Copy that. I can assist with CPR.
Go to Iron Sergeant Birch.
Negative, he's okay.
I'll be 2 be
Happy.
Town collapses to the northwest. We need to communicate who's going to clear it.
Ow, that fucking hurt.
Yeah,
Where the fuck was he?
Delta may want to move to the right in these woods. Get cover sir, with that tan building.
Say again.
May want to move to the right through these woods. Get to that tan building.
Copy that. Collins is back up. He should be taking it now.
2-4 back up.
Maybe we're gonna have Alpha take that dirt mound. Get eyes.
Send it 2-3.
2-4 should be just here.
You good?
Lord, I needed to
Copy
take
that.
that shit off.
Alright guys, we're gonna move up a little. We've got
2-3's up there in the yellow smoke.
Alright guys, we're gonna go up a little further, towards the yellow smoke, that's where 2-3 is. We're gonna move up and give them some support.
Delta copies. Charlie, I'm on you.
And then block the road going northwest.
Charlie's moving.
Copy that.
Go 2-3, move your
Just
squad.
see it, 2-4.
We're gonna go up to the right side with them.
Alright, we're gonna go to the right hand side and
Opening
move
door.
to get this.
Fine.
Alpha, this is Bravo. We're taking the
Clear.
two-story gray building if you want to move to the... Clear.
I was hurrying up.
2 cheers, 2-7.
Go ahead.
Interrogative status.
Ooh, that sounds heavy.
Possibly. Alright, move up to this road. Alright, to the wall.
Cover, make sure I don't get fucking shot in the face.
Alpha.
Charlie, want to clear this out building first, then move into the main building.
Yep, drag him out.
Roger.
2-4 is 2-3.
Send it
Charlie,
2-4.
be advised, I checked on the outside. I didn't really see anything when I walked by.
Keep moving, great.
Got body. Bodies. It's clear.
Copy that. Alright guys, we're gonna... 2-3 is gonna take that double story
Check
building.
that,
Keep
check
moving
that.
west.
2 cheers, 2-7. Good copy last.
Alright,
Advised,
2-3 is taking that two-story building. Keep pushing left. Alright,
Copy that. We've got a garage here.
Copy, take the garage. And then we'll take this one story
Let me
red.
know when you set defense.
Ready?
Too many guys in one garage. Step over.
Come on, Simon.
Alright.
He's down.
Good shit, here's that.
Window, window,
Clear.
window. Nothing,
Fuck
nothing,
you.
nothing, nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Nothing. Watch my right. Nothing there. It's a plant.
Heavy 2
It's
is
a really big opening that we're in front of.
Oh, there's a guy.
Hold on.
Oh, he's very tough, isn't he?
I'm on the way.
Actual, where'd you go? I lost you.
I'm with 2-7.
Delta, you okay?
Go. I'm behind you.
Copy that. I'm getting a little low on ammo, but I'm good for now.
These
2-6
guys,
that
these
red
guys have
building.
5.56.
Send it.
Alpha?
Thank you for the heads up. Thank you.
Roger that.
Yeah, they got
Go left.
M16s.
Two-story
I believe
building.
there's a friendly squad in here.
Oh, shitload of runes.
Okay, yeah,
Right's
friendly
clear.
squad's inside this brick
On
building.
the way.
Friendly's out. Friendly's
Finish
outside.
clearing counterclockwise. Or clockwise.
Clear.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Finish
Big
clearing.
building.
Turning my
Clear.
laser off.
Roger.
Oh, sorry.
Pause X, maybe an index.
Hey Delta, there's a body that with an F-16 in front of you.
Copy.
Well, some of these guys are wearing our pants, but...
Index on the T intersection.
Thanks.
Condition 4.
Affirm.
4.
Green smoke on the yield sign at the T intersection.
Affirm.
Condition 4.
Condition
Let
4.
me guys know when you're here.
No, when you're all here, guys.
Was I actually injured?
If you have questions, or have comments, make sure you are yelling.
Delta's here.
Alpha.
Make sure lasers are off.
Alright, Havoc 2, let's change the direction
Alright.
in front of me here.
Alpha's here.
Sorry, no one's.
Bravo's all here.
Sudden?
It's his present.
Alpha's all here.
Oh,
2-1's all here.
Charlie, you here?
Yeah, Charlie's here.
2-4's here.
Bravo's here.
Mike's here.
Lieutenant Avery may disconnect or may want to TP over. Just see what's up.
Copy.
Havoc 2. I think I'm going to continue with the style that we've been doing off the PAWSX. I'm going to go to the squad leaders first. What did we do well? What can we improve on? What would you like to see more? 2-1, and we will do the 2IC and the actual squad leader. So, Corporal Dunn, comments.
Thanks, Sergeant Owens. This communications on my part was just dog shit, like horrible. I wasn't communicating like I needed to be with my other squads, and that's just something I'll have to get better with time. Other than that, maneuvering needed to be a little bit, and that was basically the communication to my Alpha and Bravo that needed to get better as well. So, just all around communication.
Understood. Sergeant Ben.
Things are knowns. Maneuvering went pretty well. Like Corporal Dunn said, communication between the squads, so we didn't run into them constantly. There's an issue that needed to be worked on. But other than that, yeah, it went pretty good for a 2IC day.
Thanks, Sergeant Ben. Sergeant Trooper, from 2-2's point of view.
Gonna pretty much echo what the two squad leaders said about the maneuvering, and once myself and 2-1 hit the first ASR heading southbound, because we originally attacked from the north, I had no idea where 2-3 and 2-4 was. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention on comms. I don't know if it was just lacking communication. But I just want to know where were they engaging? Did they bound past us to the next ASR on the north-hand side? I had no knowledge.
From that location, 100 meters up that MSR, there was some yellow smoke. I tried communicating that to you over Platoon net for point of reference. They were just 100 meters up from that position you're talking about. They were just 100 meters up on the MSR here, engaging all the stuff to the west.
Roger. Did we actually have a squad? So we did actually have a squad heading westbound on the ASR during this whole clearing.
AFM, that was going to be one of my points I brought up, because they almost moved south and cut you off.
And that brings me to my point, is that what happened? Did I see friendlies way ahead of me and completely cut me off, or was this completely, or am I thinking of something different?
I'm going to go 50-50. All right, so I'll say my first point now in between. There was a moment there, halfway in the town, just back there, that 2-3 and 2-4, you were moving west, it was good, but you were taking contact from the south. Now, I understand pushing towards the contact and clearing it out, but you also have 2-1 and 2-2 right there on the southeast of you, so you're both L-shaping pretty much from two different right-angle cardinal directions on an enemy. It has to be decided who's going to suppress, who's going to maneuver. We can't put 4 squads into the one fucking building. So when they started to move south without any word, almost, thankfully, blue on blued. And this was a situation that cannot happen. You need to identify that when you have the whole platoon from those right angles engaging an enemy on a building, it needs to be communicated who's going to hit it, who's going to suppress it. This is why staying in touch where the other squad's positions are is important. So I interjected in between all that and told 2-3 to move northwest and 2-4 just to sort of unfuck it a little. And 2-1 and 2-1 was able to maneuver on it as 2-2 went to clear stuff to the southwest. So is everybody tracking on that? We can't move in on the same enemy if there's not enough room. We need to coordinate who's maneuvering, who's suppressing in that situation. Squad leaders?
Affirm. Affirm.
Alright, and it's not an open field engagement, it's more of a mount environment, so you need to watch those windows and rooftops and fucking walls. That was my first point, so I'll pass it back to Sergeant Trooper.
And just heading back, 2-2 tasked ourselves with clearing the southern outskirts of this town, where it's pretty much all buildings and trees. 2-1, I believe you guys stayed on the MSR, still heading westbound, which leads me to believe, back to what I was saying, 2-3 and 2-4 both stayed on the northern side and head down west, correct? Am I tracking this right?
That's correct.
That's what was communicated over the nets.
Okay, so just to reiterate, when I got back to the MSR, I already saw 2-3 and 2-4 already at the Y intersection. Now, what brings me to this point is communication. We gotta stay online and gotta stay, like, pretty much online with each other, because my guys probably could have easily just blued you guys, because we heard shots coming from that direction. And like Staff Sergeant Owen said, guys, that cannot happen. So just reiterate, we got to stay online with each other. If you see that you're getting too far of another squad, hold your guys up, put them in the cover, and try to figure this shit out on how to get each other online with each other so we can sweep through this town so nobody's crossing fire and crossing into each other. Does everyone get what I'm saying?
Affirm.
Affirm.
Alright, that's all I had. Staff Sergeant Owens.
Thank you, Sergeant Trooper. We have to let the 15th think go. We are not doing the staff sergeant. All sergeants are sergeants except for the first sergeant. Is that understood?
Roger.
No, that's not just for Sergeant Trooper. Alright, good. Two three's point of view, Sergeant Adamson.
Thanks, Sergeant. Exactly what Sergeant Van and Sergeant Trooper said. The manoeuvring into town was good. 2-3 actually peeled around behind you 2-2, and then we peeled behind 2-1, and we're pretty much on that second ASR on the north side of town. And that was, I was going to say, it was good to hear you over net saying, look, we're at this yellow building, or reference this kind of smoke, just to know what line we were in. Even though you might not have known where we were, I was saying that 2-1 you were sandwiched in between myself and yourself 2-2. But I reckon even though you didn't know where we were still moving on line towards south, towards that MSR. Which then you guys sort of went to the outskirts of town to the south, and that's when I pushed over to the south and made the mistake. And Sergeant Owens pretty much said, look, you got to go back north side of town. And as soon as he said that, I saw you guys coming through the woods from the southeast back up to the MSR. So that sort of figured itself out in the end. But that's it. Thank you, Sergeant.
Good stuff. The FTX is going to be 10 times harder again. We need exactly what we're talking about going forward. So, let's fucking do it. I am your squad leader, but Corporal Weingard, would you like to add anything?
Make sure you're on yellow.
2-4's point of view. Thank you, Corporal. Sergeant Collins.
Thank you, Sergeant. I definitely know that I still have a lot of work to do on the communication on the platoon net side. There are quite a few times where I didn't even think to be like, hey, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing. and I know I've got to fix that going forward. Definitely were a few times where we had walked up because I must have missed it on the comms that we were going up to buildings that ended up being already marked and just got ourselves a little turned around at the beginning part. Just stuff that I know I got to work with going forward to adjust and get better.
Roger that, 2-4. Alright, to harp on some last things and to point out some good things. Overall, before I go on the intricacies, the way you came into the town eventually was good. Maneuvering, we had a few choices, and the forest was good. You came down to south to clear that portion before coming west. That worked out great. It did mean 2-1 and 2-2 had to wheel around 2-3 and 2-4, and that's why I was saying take your time there, 2-3-4, and they did. We identified a spot way back on the southeast part of town that you had to cross an opening area without much cover. That is the perfect time in this dynamic environment to use a smoke screen to conceal your movement across those buildings. I had to throw the smoke for you. That shouldn't happen. I mean, I'm going to do it if it's needed, but identify when that smoke, because it's not on buildings, it's not on targets, it's concealing a movement, and it needed to happen. I hope you remember where the southeast portion was. 2-1 had casualties, and I instructed you pick yourselves up and then get online with the platoon. You had time to do it. 2-2 made the maneuver to the south. That needs to happen more with less instruction from HQ. Unfortunately, 2-2, it was light contact on the south side, but the maneuver needed to be done, so that was good. That's the overall point. Intricacies, I mean, you're going to point it out in your squad debriefs, but there wasn't a team leader didn't pay attention to his squad leader and maneuvered straight into the town, and I had to run after him, so they fucking went on by themselves. And while I appreciate the enjoyment of being out there trying to re-rally with your squad, and they cleared buildings rather well, that maneuverment shouldn't happen. Be clear with your squad leader. If you don't understand something, he's expecting you to understand the intent. Miscommunication happens all the time, so you need to keep those open lines, those communication lines open. Don't just be like, So, team leaders, are you tracking that?
Affirm.
Affirm.
Alright. And secondly, stay with your team leader. If you're a trooper within your team leader, there's a reason. We can't all be on the one spot. It's just going to get fucked. Stay with your team leader, listen to your team leader, and utilize what we practiced, looked at in the example with, the point guys, and covering your sight linings, being ready to fight. Need to keep that up on the intricacy level. So I saw some minor things I was managed to get a touch on, but I want you to touch on it more in your debriefs. Make sure we're doing better, because again, FTX is going to be harder, and we need to do all these things that we're highlighting. That's it from me. Lieutenant Tell, would you like to point anything out from Aries' point of view, or anything, being the XO?
Affirm. 3 points. First one, Sergeant Trooper already hit on it, so I won't hit it on it again as far as maneuvering goes. Second thing, as you guys have heard first, Sergeant, I think pretty sure I even said at the beginning of this, if you take fire, take cover. Do not fucking stand out there and keep getting engaged and turn around and swivel and shoot. There was at least a couple different times in there where I saw people getting shot at, sometimes because I was shooting at them, other times it's just the AI shooting at you, and yet you were still turning around and swiveling to return fire instead of getting behind cover first and then doing it. So make sure you guys take care of that. Second thing is just make sure you guys are coordinating within the squad. When you guys are, there was one point where I was in a real small yellow shack. I put a couple rounds right past somebody's head. I'm pretty sure he was in 2-4. Pretty sure he was carrying a Maz if I remember correctly. Anyway, put a couple rounds out. I ducked back behind the cover. The person carrying Maz correctly jumped his ass back behind cover and called out that they needed to frag it, which was absolutely right. But then somebody else went around, opened up the far door, and engaged me directly, and even though it had just been called out that there was hostile in there. So again, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. If you know that there's an enemy inside it, you need to be throwing a hand munition, flash or frag it. Do not just run in there and get into a fucking gunfight. Last thing is, I'll remind everybody, Task Force Alpha is tonight, so for fill-ins. Other than that, Sergeant Owens, that's all I got.
Right, thank you, Lieutenant. Before we hand it over to the First Sergeant, just need to wrap up a couple things. Medical, Specialist, Stark, Sergeant Arch, we all good on medical?
Thank you, Sergeant. I have nothing for medical.
Roger. Sergeant Arch, you all good? Extend it, Sergeant Arch.
Thank you, Sergeant. There was a medic in this platoon tonight who is carrying 15 blood bags. That is not acceptable. I don't care what platoon you're in, what squad you're in this unit. If you're a medic, you will carry 10 and only 10 blood bags. I am a platoon medic, and I carry 10 and only 10 blood bags. Fix that ASAP, because next Sunday I will be checking your backpack, and I had better see only 10 blood bags. Thank you, Sergeant.
Alright. Today's training was a mount. I think we highlighted a lot of points. We need to tighten it up. We did do good. We can do better. Secondly, it was 2IC Day. I think, as Sergeant Bev pointed out, there was some good things there for 2IC. I have a question for you. Those 2IC stepping up. Did you notice things highlighted to you? Was this experience beneficial? Are you able to draw from that and improve going forward?
Absolutely.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Perfect. That's what it's about. And be prepared for 2IC team leaders step up too. Alright, I want to highlight some more things on the mount and the training overall. First Sergeant Brewer, enlighten us.
Alright, I'm going to make this quick. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of the fucking droning on, talking in fucking circles. Alright, the only thing I'm going to point out is when we began the initial assault on this town. 2 problems there. Alright, firstly, at no point in time did myself at a team level ever get an order to engage when we first started hitting the guys in the windows of those buildings. Guys just started opening up. That undisciplined fire is fucking dog shit, and it needs to stop. Okay? There's a reason that control is in pretty much every fucking thing that we do. Every type of report, every type of action, control is in there for that exact reason. We don't open up until we're told to. For all we know, there was guys waiting to get in position, which they should have been, because when we went to move, our covering element wasn't fucking covering us yet. They weren't even in position to cover us. When I ask if is someone covering our movement, and the response I get is, yeah, they're moving up now, that means no. If they're moving up, then they're not covering, which means we were moving unfucking protected. So we could have waited another 20 seconds for 2-4 to get in position with those big black dicks of freedom and actually cover our ass while we moved behind their base of fire. But no, someone got all fucking excited and blew their load because they seen somebody. Stop it. Stop it. I'm serious when I tell you guys I'm going to get a goddamn newspaper and start slapping you in the fucking nose. Make sure you are in control of your elements. Team leaders, your guys don't rip off a fucking round in that situation until you give the order. We had perfect fucking element of surprise. Nobody was going to engage us. And someone decided to fucking let their fingers slip. When we need a covering element, that being a prime fucking example, that initial engagement, we do not move until that covering element calls what?
Set covering.
Set what?
Set covering.
There we go. That second part is very fucking important. We need to hear that word before we begin movement. All right, everybody clear on that?
Yes,
Yes, for a sergeant.
All right, outstanding. That's all I got.
All right, Havoc 2 squad leaders, send your attendance report as soon as you can, any other miscellaneous information, but just attendance is fine. See any of you at Task Force Alpha? Dismissed.
Sir.
I did not open it up to general questions and comments. But if you have any, feel free to send it to me. Fuck.
You won my channel.
Jump down, 2-3.
Go ahead, 2-2, jump down.
I don't think I went as bad as it could have been.
Nah, that was okay.
For us
No,
not
it
really
went pretty
clearing
good.
buildings that much, we actually did pretty fucking good, I think.
Well, most of them were these giant barns. All you had to do was look inside.
And there was a lot of fucking enemies